25th. I haven't been talking to you for a while. I was busy with the International Film Festival and the play, the jungle. A lot of things was going on. But I want to talk about the film that was in the International Film Festival, which is really uh, it tells a story about the attack on the Indian British writer Salman Rushdie, and it's a documentary based on his memoir, and of course this is was a huge attraction in the film festival, and also was in Sundance, and a lot of talk, writing, discussion about the attempt murder of Salman Rushdie, and bringing religion, art, freedom of speech, there's this usual suspect here that we usually saw in film festivals and in other Western media. Salman Rushdie, since the fatwa, he was now a rock star in the Western media, books, movies, talk, tours, and he came here for a book signing here, and I was in Hopkins uh, Art Center, or Center of Art. About 500 people came and bought his book. And it's all about the fatwa on his life from the Ayatollah after writing his book Satanic Verses, and I got at the time Satanic Verses, and tried to read it and kind of see what is this all about, and I think that was the most boring book I've ever seen. I'm not talking even about the symbolism of it, and everybody's talking about how courageous he is. I know it's been a long, long, long time ago, but that film kind of rekindled this, because I went to that event in Hopkins when Salman Rushdie came, and he was like a rock star. Every joke, every comment, people laughing, and he cannot go any wrong. And the guy tells the story like he is the only uh, free thinker, Muslim, Indian, whatever. And he is surviving all of this, and he jokes about the British security that they tried to protect him at the time. British security. He used to at the time he lived in England, London, and he, cost him $1 million or $2 million a year to protect him from the fatwa. That's how, and he jokes and laugh and making fun of Islamist, and making fun of the area board. And I think I remember he was saying, I have no interest in visiting their area, and I have no, as a writer, as an artist, you cannot uh, censor yourself or prohibit yourself from visiting area and find out about the people that you write about. And he was gloom and gloom about the future and fundamentalism. And he actually, during the genocide in Gaza, um, he was talking about if the Hamas won, that would be like Taliban. We don't want that. We want a Western democratic country, and it's like Israel, for instance. A Western democratic country that commits genocide, have been invading and killing children, women, civilians. kidnapping, assassination all over the world. This is a Western democracy that you want. But anyway, he talks about the fatwa and how it affected his life. And I'm drifting here. I'm not coming to the film Knife, um, um, which now it's out there. And and everybody's asking questions, and he jokes and mine, and it took me a while to get my turn to ask him questions. And that time there was Obama and his kill list. We all know Obama has developed a kill list. It's just a list of the people who should die, who should be killed, around the world, including even America in Yemen and Somalia and elsewhere. And all it does is just develop the CIA, whatever, develop the list, whatever his intelligence, and this person is dangerous, is a terrorist. We need to take him out. And he look at the list and kind of Obama, of course, the darling of white liberal. He looks at the list and say, well, let's take this and take this. And then they send the drone and kill those people. And without due process and violating international law, crossing border in Afghanistan and Yemen, Somalia, wherever. And they killed this guy. Nobody, and, people cheering him that they killed this terrorist. Who is this person? Why is a terrorist? What is the story? Nobody knows. It's just the terrorist been killed by. It was on Obama's kill list, so he deserved to die. So I took my turn during the Q&A with Salman Rushdie at the time, and I asked him very politely, and I introduced myself. I'm probably the only Arab Muslim in the audience. And I introduced myself. I actually told him at the time, I've yet to meet anybody Muslim really take that fatwa seriously. I think he made a living out of it, and I know this might contradict what happened to him in New York a few years in 22, I think, about the attempt on his life. Somebody with a knife. This could happen to anybody. I had a fatwa myself, and I didn't take it serious. And but anyway, I said, would you consider, let me get that straight, looking at the Obama kill list, would you kind of see any analogy, any parallel between Obama's kill list and the fatwa? If the fatwa is a religious uh, uh, fatwa, it's a religious interpretation or religious uh, kind of indictment of somebody, usually ordered by a religious leader of some sort. And nobody listened to imam or leader these days. You just Google things. Why would you listen to your imam? Ayatollah Google is more important now than any Ayatollah. But anyway, so I told him, would you consider or you see any parallel between Obama's kill list? This is a secular fatwa. It's the same thing. You put the name, this man did this, terrorized things, whatever, and he should be killed. And anybody can go there and kill him. And he was very dismissive and defensive and brushed me off, whatever, and people cheering him. And anyway, but that's what this Western liberalism people have, reading his book and reading groups, writers all over the world, uh, talking about this um, westernized Muslim that he is really his life under um, uh, threat and he books about it, movies about it. And I know she's dying a little bit, and I was surprised. This film really kind of I think the attempt on his life in New York kind of rekindled that, and then this film, and, you take this break, breathtaking proximity through narration and intimate footage details his recovery in, in 2022 attack on his life, an event which has become darkly present. This is how the movie presents itself in Sundance Festival. But certainly in intervening years, and then Gibney, which is the director, give us a magnificent gift in documenting this literally titan and a great thinker as he navigates question around violence, forgiveness, and expression. Question whose answers are needed now more than ever. Wow. People are getting killed, kidnapped everywhere. Arab dictators and Israelis is full of prisoner writers and poetry. The son of Qaradawi, which is a huge Muslim scholar, Qaradawi, that he passed away a few years. His son was kidnapped from Lebanon by United Arab Emirates. He's a poet and a lot of poetry there. Nobody hears about this guy, and he's still in prison in the United Arab Emirates. And nobody knows what's happening with what happened to him, who he is about, and but everybody knows what Salman Rushdie is and what happened to him and how he is living and how is no, I mean, I don't want to make this conspiracy analogy, but I want to talk about a book was written by Egyptian great writer Naguib Mahfouz, and that was like in 50s. I'm not talking about the satanic verses was in the 90s. And but this book was similar. It was similar to what Salman Rushdie did. It's just a symbolic thing about religious figures and conflict between good and evil, and أولاد حارتنا, or the children of the alley, or children of Giblawi. And Giblawi, that was a father, isolated, heavy, traditional patriarch father, and has children. And the father represents, as the people were accusing Naguib Mahfouz. And he, by the way, he was also, there was an attempt on his life too. It was a knife, but nobody there cares about this guy. And so Giblawi is like God, the divine power response, and then his kids represents, one of them represented the knowledge, one of them represented evil, one of them represent wisdom. And this is all story done in an alley in Cairo. Naguib Mahfouz was a master of telling the city life in Cairo. And he just put symbolic figure, and brought him to earth. And, somebody Adham, he is the knowledge, the Giblawi is the higher authority. So Adam was kicked out of the house, like Sayyidina Adam and Eve kicked out of heaven. And Gabal represent Moses, and Rifa'i represent Jesus, and Asim. And all this name, it has a connotation. Moses, Gabal means the mountain, talk to God, that mountain. Jesus, Rifa' means rising. Isa was rise after, and Qasim is justice. That's Muhammad. All those are the stories of those prophets that they came to this alley, to this section of this town, and try to fix all this problem. Like what happened, and God sent our prophets to guide humanity and fight injustice. And so anyway, this is Naguib Mahfouz in the 50s. and nothing happened to him. Nobody, I know there was some people accuse him of that and that, and the book was banned in Egypt, but the book was everywhere, and it was no fatwa, is no, even if there is fatwa, I mean, nobody took this seriously, and no media covered whatsoever about Naguib Mahfouz novel. Nobody even mentioned it. At the same time, they are talking about the satanic verses or the fatwa and Salman Rushdie. It's just, it's like did not happen. And that's really what's going on. It's only the things that fit the narrative of backward Muslims, oppressed hijabi Muslim women. Nothing will, this is the only thing that will get the attention of Western media. But the people who actually give the life for the freedom of speech and democracy. The people who are in Israel's prison, in Sisi's prisons, or Saudi's prisons, or South America, and even here, the people who are going after because of things they say or something, Homeland Security now going after Palestinians, activists. In England, they try to have a law prohibit, Palestinian action and prohibiting people for saying from the river to the sea and bullshit. All you need to do, you just create a law, and that's it. You can't say this anymore. So freedom of speech and democracy, there is always contingency. There is always limits, and we can't just stop you right away. We can just have a new law, a new amendment, a new addition, and that will be the end of the and uh, and democracy and freedom of speech usually when we need it the most, when ICE, when invading, bombing, and wars, that will just put on hold. So, but anyway, I thought it's interesting to see that that movie, The Knife, talks about the attempt on Salman Rushdie, that he's not lives in New York, and he has been since his fatwa in his life from Ayatollah Khomeini. He's been the star of Western media, Western writers, and made a living out of these books and movies and security. Naguib Mahfouz was his the Children of the Alley or the Children of Giblawi, which is talk about even more direct and more literally, has a more literally uh, uh, dimension and literal history and literal in an area that that they don't really appreciate those things. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it, even in the context of satanic verses and the life of Salman Rushdie. Most boring writers I've ever heard, ever read, and but he is a movie star. He is a rock star. He is an talk media, talk tours, and what have you. He's the darling of Western liberal media and liberal area, and because it fits the narrative. It fits the narrative. Anyway, this is all the ranting I'm gonna do today. Please follow, subscribe, and see you next week.